There are breakups in Hollywood that unfold quietly, private endings behind closed doors, shielded by carefully crafted PR language and polite statements. And then, there are breakups that ignite the entire internet. Jennifer Hudson and Common's split was supposed to be the first kind, clean, cordial. Two adults moving in different directions with grace. But that illusion didn't last long. Because the moment singer Jaguar Wright stepped in, everything changed. Before we dive into the blow-up, we have to go back to the beginning, when Jennifer Hudson believed she had found something real. Something stable. Something safe. Her therapist once explained to her a concept she later recognized in herself: love addiction. That intoxicating rush during the first phase of a relationship. The honeymoon haze where everything feels possible, where the world glows a little brighter, where the heart races with a sweetness that feels almost chemical. Jennifer admitted she was drawn to that feeling. Craved it. The sense of connection. The illusion of security. The hope wrapped in romance. And Common, he delivered that feeling effortlessly. From the very beginning, he was calm, collected, almost too perfect. He had that quiet, poetic charm that could make any woman exhale. The type of charm that didn't need to shout to be heard. A soothing voice, a reflective soul, the image of maturity. To Jennifer, who had weathered more storms than most people could imagine, that calm felt like peace. But as Jaguar Wright would later say, that calm was never a sign of safety. It was a sign of something else entirely, a pattern she had seen unfold time and time again. When Jennifer Hudson finally spoke publicly about her breakup with Common, her words were gentle, thoughtful. She didn't attack, didn't blame, didn't reveal too much. And still, fans immediately sensed a weight. Behind her tone, something unspoken, something unresolved. The internet buzzed. Commentators speculated. People who had followed Common's dating history raised an eyebrow. But then, Jaguar Wright jumped into the conversation. And when Jaguar speaks, the internet listens. She didn't ease into it. She didn't soften her delivery. She didn't hesitate. She hit go live, stared directly into the camera, and said the words that would split the internet in half. I told Jennifer from the beginning. The chat exploded instantly. What do you mean you warned her? How do you know? What are you talking about? But Jaguar didn't flinch. She leaned in even closer, almost as if she had been waiting for this moment. Ask me how I know, she said, her voice sharp, almost taunting. And with that, she cracked open a story that wasn't just about Jennifer or Common. It was about years, decades of alleged patterns, heartbreaks, and exits. Because according to Jaguar Wright, this wasn't a breakup. It was history repeating itself. The patterns she claimed to know Jaguar's claims were bold, too bold to ignore. She said she had seen this exact cycle play out with women before Jennifer. Different faces, different timelines, same ending. She even listed names: Tiffany Haddish, Serena Williams, Erykah Badu, Taraji P. Henson. Women who were strong, successful, iconic. Women who, in the public eye, seemed to have the world at their fingertips, and yet, behind the scenes, according to Jaguar, had experienced the same emotional blueprint. He makes you feel like you're the one, Jaguar said. He sweeps you up, makes you feel chosen, makes you feel like you've finally found something real. And then, he's gone. Her words hit like a hammer. The internet didn't know how to react. Some viewers called Jaguar bitter, messy, attention-seeking. Others believed she was revealing what no one else was brave enough to say. People began digging up old interviews, old podcast clips, old tweets, anything that could support or refute her statements. And then something strange happened. A clip of Tiffany Haddish resurfaced. A clip many people had forgotten existed. A clip where Tiffany laughed, but her tone was serious beneath the humor. Stay away, she had said. He don't stick around. Suddenly, the pieces felt like they were falling into place. Suddenly, Jennifer's quiet heartbreak seemed heavier. Jaguar insisted that Jennifer believed, hoped, she would be the exception. The woman who could change the pattern. The one who could make Common finally settle down. But Jaguar was blunt. He doesn't change. Not for anyone. When reality started to crack in public, everything looked perfect. Photos, Interviews, red carpets, smiles. Common couldn't stop praising Jennifer. In one interview, he called their relationship one of the greatest blessings of his life. He spoke of partnership, of emotional connection, of being equally matched, of an artist as soulful and talented as Jennifer Hudson. He said all the right things. He always did. But according to Jaguar and sources close to Jennifer, things behind the scenes were beginning to shift. Subtle at first, little things that anyone could brush away. Unanswered texts, sudden schedule changes, trips that didn't add up, moments where Jennifer felt a distance she couldn't explain. At first, she blamed work, his schedule, her schedule, their responsibilities. But then rumors started reaching her. Whispers from within the industry. Hints that maybe Common wasn't just pulling away emotionally, maybe he was investing that energy somewhere else. Jaguar said this was the moment everything unraveled. Because once Jennifer confronted him, once she asked the question no one wants to ask, the calm, quiet illusion shattered instantly. The argument was explosive, voices raised, trust fractured. A reality Jennifer did not want to face finally stared back at her. And she broke down alone, in private, behind the curtain of fame. Meanwhile, Common insisted the breakup was mutual, peaceful, and grounded in respect. But Jaguar Wright called that narrative a lie. He wanted it to look clean, she said. He wanted to look like the good guy. He always does. The internet takes sides. When Jaguar went live again, doubling down on her claims, the storm officially began. Hashtags flooded timelines. Hashtag Common exposed. Hashtag Team Jennifer. Hashtag Jaguar was right. Debates turned heated. Old fans became critics. Critics became analysts. Commentators began unpacking decade-old relationships like detectives. Some said Jaguar was finally exposing a truth everyone knew, but no one said out loud. Others said she was obsessed with chaos and needed to stay out of other people's business. But one question echoed louder than all the rest. Why wasn't Jennifer responding? No denial. No statement. No Instagram post. Nothing. Her silence spoke louder than any accusation. And for many, that silence was confirmation. The calm before the next storm. Common, on the other hand, acted unbothered. Laughing in interviews. Focusing on work. Smiling for cameras. Dodging questions with charm and grace. But when a radio host asked him directly about Jaguar Wright's claims, he laughed. Not nervously, not defensively, just laughed. People gonna talk, he said. I know my truth. That response only added gasoline to the fire. Because Jaguar Wright wasn't backing down. She insisted she had proof, messages, calls, screenshots, even voice notes. Proof that could flip the entire narrative upside down. According to her, the breakup wasn't about schedules or priorities. It was about a secret Jennifer discovered, a secret Jaguar hinted was bigger than anyone realized. And she warned the internet, this is only the beginning. There is a type of silence in relationships that doesn't bring peace, it brings questions. Jennifer Hudson knew that silence well. It creeps in slowly, disguised at first as busyness, as exhaustion, as distance. But eventually, it becomes impossible to ignore. Behind every beautiful photo of Jennifer and Common smiling on red carpets, behind every interview where Common praised her talent, her spirit, her soul, behind every Instagram post celebrating their partnership, there was a growing quietness, subtle, uncomfortable, and undeniable. Jennifer felt it long before she ever admitted it. That pit of the stomach feeling when someone you care about begins slipping out of reach. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. It was the opposite, barely noticeable unless you were paying close attention. And Jennifer Hudson was paying attention. The unanswered texts. It started small. A message left on read. A call returned hours later. A plan canceled with a vague explanation. Something came up. Jennifer wanted to trust him. She did trust him. She believed he was different from the men and the heartbreaks of her past. But trust can only hold so long before doubt begins clawing its way in. According to insiders Jaguar Wright claimed to know, Jennifer confided that something felt off. She told a close friend that Common's energy didn't feel the same. There was a disconnect. An emotional shift she couldn't explain. But she pushed the feeling away. Because when you're in love, the heart will cling to hope, even when the mind whispers otherwise. The beginning of the rumors, the first rumor didn't hit Jennifer like a blow. It came softly, almost gently. A whisper from someone in the industry. The kind of quiet warning that starts with, "Hey, I don't know if this means anything, but..." Someone mentioned seeing Common out late. Someone else mentioned he had been texting someone a little too often. Someone hinted he still had open doors in his dating life. It was vague enough to dismiss, but specific enough to haunt her. Jennifer brushed it aside. Public life attracts rumors like a magnet. She had been in the spotlight long enough to know that not every whisper deserves attention. But then the whispers grew louder. Jaguar Wright would later claim that Jennifer started hearing things she could no longer ignore. People close to Common allegedly hinted he wasn't as emotionally invested as he pretended to be. That while Jennifer imagined a stable future, Common was still living like a man who wanted options. And when those whispers reached Jennifer, she broke her own rule. She started checking his tone, his schedule, his stories, his little inconsistencies. The pieces didn't fit the way they used to. The shift in his eyes. Jennifer is a woman who has endured loss, betrayal, heartbreak, and unimaginable pain. She is not naive. She is not childish in love. But even the strongest hearts can be shaken by uncertainty. Sources claimed she began noticing something in Common's eyes when he spoke to her, something distant, something rehearsed, something polite, but not intimate. Still, she held on. Couples go through phases. Careers demand time. People change. Relationships stretch and bend. She believed they could work through it. But then the final rumor arrived. The one Jaguar Wright insists shattered everything. The rumor that ended the relationship. This rumor didn't come from a random blog. Not from Twitter. Not from a disgruntled fan page. It came from someone close, someone whose words carried weight. According to Jaguar Wright, Jennifer learned that Common might not just be losing interest. He might be involved with someone else. A woman. Possibly someone from the industry. Or someone he had kept in his life quietly, even while dating Jennifer. No specific name was confirmed. But social media detectives began pulling up old photos, old appearances, old sightings, trying to uncover the mystery woman. Some speculated it was an ex. Others suggested a new face in Common's circle. Some theories pointed toward someone in LA he had been spending unusual time with. Jennifer tried to push aside the idea, but once the seed of doubt is planted, it grows, whether you want it to or not. She confronted him, not with anger, not with accusations, with heartbreak. "Just tell me the truth," she said. And that question broke whatever illusions still remained. The fight that made everything real, what began as a calm conversation, quickly spiraled into something heated. Common denied, deflected, shifted blame to work, to schedules, to miscommunication. But Jennifer felt the truth in his tone, between the pauses, in the defensiveness, in the distance. According to Jaguar, that confrontation was the moment Jennifer knew. She wasn't the woman he was choosing. She was the woman he was leaving. Jennifer broke down, away from the cameras, away from fans, away from the world. She mourned not just the relationship, but the version of love she believed she had found. And while she tried to process her pain, Common began preparing his own narrative. The clean breakup image. Common has always known how to exit relationships gracefully, publicly at least. Every past breakup has been framed the same way: mutual, respectful, loving. Two people growing apart. Never messy, never dramatic, never emotional. Common's charm didn't disappear after the breakup. If anything, it became smoother. He talked about peace, about respect, about God guiding the relationship. He praised Jennifer endlessly in interviews, even while stepping away from her privately. Jaguar Wright said that was the part that made her furious. "He makes them look perfect," she said, "so he doesn't have to look guilty." According to her, Common wanted the world to believe the breakup was clean, two adults making a thoughtful decision. But Jennifer Hudson's silence told a different story. She didn't clap back. She didn't deny Jaguar. She didn't defend Common. She simply stayed quiet. And in Hollywood, silence is never just silence. It's a message. The internet dives deeper with the breakup now public. The internet went into detective mode. TikTok theories, Twitter threads, Reddit rabbit holes, YouTube breakdowns. People rewatched interviews with new eyes. That interview where Common looked a little too rehearsed. That clip where Jennifer seemed a little too uncertain. That moment where Common dodged a question about commitment. That comment from Tiffany Haddish that suddenly hit differently. Fans began connecting dots across a decade of his dating history. Patterns emerged. Patterns Jaguar Wright insisted she had been shouting about for years. Women praising him at the beginning. Women glowing. Women hopeful. Then the drift. The confusion. The heartbreak. The quiet exit. Jaguar saw it all as confirmation. He's not built for one woman, she said. Not me. Not her. Not anyone. Common speaks, and the laugh that said everything during a radio interview. The host finally did what everyone else was afraid to do. He said Jaguar Wright's name out loud. He asked Common directly, "What do you think about Jaguar Wright saying you're repeating a pattern?" Common didn't look angry. He didn't look defensive. He didn't even look surprised. He laughed. A small, amused, dismissive laugh. "People gonna talk," he said. "I know my truth." Some viewers felt relieved. Maybe Jaguar really was stirring drama. Maybe the internet was reading too deeply into innocent behavior. But others felt the opposite. A man with nothing to hide laughs in confusion. A man with something to hide laughs in denial. And Jaguar Wright? She took that laugh as an invitation. "You wanna laugh?" she said on Instagram Live. "Okay, I'll show you what's funny." She claimed she had receipts, messages, calls, recordings, insider conversations. Whether she truly did or not didn't matter. The internet was hungry. Commentary channels started preparing. Hashtags began rising again. People waited for the next bombshell. Because according to Jaguar, the breakup was not the real story. The real story was the secret Jennifer Hudson found. A secret Jaguar said the world wasn't ready to hear. Common had always mastered the art of appearing balanced, calm voice, thoughtful pauses, a perfectly timed smile. But people who watched him closely knew that calmness wasn't born from peace. It was born from discipline, a discipline that often hid the chaos he preferred not to confront. Jennifer, on the other hand, had a different type of strength. Hers wasn't quiet, it was crafted through storms, sharpened through loss, and shaped by the public eye that watched her grow from a powerhouse vocalist to a Hollywood icon. When these two energies collided, the world saw romance. But the people closest to them saw tension soft, subtle, and building. At first, everything felt cinematic. The conversations were easy, the chemistry undeniable, and the partnership looked promising. But behind the scenes, reality whispered a different truth. Jennifer was a woman with deep emotional intelligence. She noticed shifts, even when Common tried to hide them. She noticed hesitations, even when he dressed them in compliments. And most importantly, she noticed when someone started emotionally withdrawing, even if they still showed up physically. This wasn't her first experience with that type of quiet fade. She'd lived enough life to recognize the pattern. But she wanted to believe that this time, with this man, things would be different. For a while, she convinced herself they were. But as the months passed, the differences in their emotional expectations became harder to ignore. Jennifer was looking for permanence, foundation, structure, something real enough to build on. Common, despite his charm and openness in interviews, had a long history of hesitating at the edge of commitment. He was drawn to connection, but often afraid of what came after. Friends noticed it first. Some described it as emotional inconsistency, others as an internal conflict he never fully resolved. Whatever it was, that energy began to seep into the relationship, little by little. During press runs, they looked perfect, smiling, laughing, standing shoulder to shoulder. But off-camera, Jennifer's patience was wearing thinner, not because she was demanding, but because she'd grown past the stage of romantic uncertainty. Life had been too unkind, too honest, too real. She didn't have space for love that wasn't steady. Still, she tried more than most people knew. She adjusted her schedules, made time even when she had none, and invested emotional energy into building something meaningful. But in the quiet moments, she could feel it. Some days he leaned in, and other days he drifted in ways she couldn't explain. He gave affection, but withheld long-term clarity. He showed devotion, then retreated into his own head, leaving Jennifer to piece together the silence. Those close to her started asking subtle questions. Are you sure he's ready for the type of life you want? Do you feel secure? Does he match your effort? Jennifer always responded with grace, but the truth was forming quietly inside her, an uncomfortable truth she didn't want to admit. The relationship was becoming unbalanced, and she was carrying more of the emotional weight. Then came the moment everything shifted. Not a fight, not a scandal, just a realization, sharp, sudden, and impossible to ignore. She understood that she couldn't keep sacrificing her emotional stability for someone who wasn't sure how to give his fully in return. And that is where the outside voices began creeping in. Fans noticed tension even before the media talked about it. Paparazzi photos showed distance where there used to be closeness. Social media clips caught subtle expressions, strained smiles, and pauses that didn't feel like the early days. But none of that compared to what happened when Jaguar Wright stepped into the conversation. Her claims weren't gentle. They weren't subtle. They weren't vague. They were explosive. And whether people believed her or not, she shook the entire narrative, forcing the public to revisit everything they thought they knew about Jennifer and Common's breakup. She didn't simply comment, she warned, accused, and implied that the story beneath the headlines was far deeper, far messier, and far more painful than anyone realized. This marked the point where gossip turned into speculation. Speculation turned into theories. And theories turned into full-blown controversy. When Jaguar Wright entered the conversation, she didn't tiptoe in. She didn't hint, suggest, or gently imply. She crashed through the door like someone who had been holding her tongue for far too long. The internet knew Jaguar as outspoken, unfiltered, and unafraid of burning bridges, especially if she believed the truth was being hidden behind celebrity polish. And this time, she set her sights directly on Jennifer Hudson and Common. Jaguar started talking the way she always does, calm at first, like someone laying out simple facts. But the calm didn't last long. In minutes, her words escalated from commentary to accusations, from warnings to what she called industry truth. She claimed she had already warned Jennifer about Common, long before their breakup ever became public. I told her what type of man she was dealing with. I warned her, and she didn't listen, Jaguar declared. That single statement was enough to set social media on fire. But she didn't stop there. Jaguar implied that Jennifer walked into the relationship blind, misreading charm as commitment. She alleged that Common had patterns she believed were obvious to anyone paying attention. Patterns of romance that burned bright, then flickered out when emotional depth was required. She framed it as a cycle, one she said repeated through every public relationship Common had been in. Fans immediately went into detective mode. Old interviews resurfaced. Past girlfriends' comments were clipped into TikToks. People began tracing timelines, comparing stories, pulling receipts that ranged from reasonable speculation to wild conspiracy. And Jaguar kept going. She hinted at private conversations with industry insiders. She claimed she knew personal details, the kind of information the public never hears unless something goes very wrong. She made vague references to things Jennifer found out, things she said contributed to the slow crumble of the relationship. Some dismissed Jaguar's comments as dramatics. Others believed every word. But one thing was undeniable. Jennifer's quiet breakup suddenly had a spotlight, and Jaguar was holding the flashlight. Jennifer remained silent, gracefully so. She didn't respond, didn't clap back, didn't hint at disagreement. She simply went on with her life, with her work, with her responsibilities. That silence, however, only fueled more speculation. People began wondering, was Jaguar telling the truth? Was Jennifer protecting her privacy, or hiding a deeper hurt? Was the breakup really as mutual and peaceful as they claimed? The internet filled the blanks with theories. Some said Jennifer walked away because Common wasn't ready for a level of commitment she deserved. Others claimed she discovered something that made her rethink the relationship entirely. And then there were those who leaned into Jaguar's narrative, believing Jennifer had ignored warnings that could have spared her emotional exhaustion. Meanwhile, Jaguar took things further, much further. She suggested that Jennifer had gone through something more sensitive, something painful, something she wasn't ready to talk about publicly. She danced around the topic, dropping hints without naming specifics, but the implications were enough to ignite heavy discussions. Every time Jaguar spoke, the story twisted again. What had once been a quiet, respectful breakup between two celebrities had turned into a storm of allegations, rumors, and unanswered questions. Common stayed public, smiling, working, moving forward. Jennifer stayed poised, professional, controlled. But the people watching felt like the calm between them didn't match Jaguar's explosive claims. And the deeper Jaguar dug, the more people wondered, what really happened behind the scenes? What was Jennifer protecting? And why was Jaguar so determined to expose it all? By now, the story was no longer just about a breakup. The narrative had shifted. Social media had transformed the private pain of Jennifer Hudson into a public spectacle, and Jaguar Wright had become the unexpected catalyst. Every word she spoke felt like a match thrown into a powder keg. Fans dissected every move, every smile, every Instagram post. Some debated the morality of exposing private relationships. Others cheered Jaguar for being honest, claiming she spoke the truth that many suspected but were too polite or too afraid to say. The hashtags told the story. Hashtag Team Jennifer, hashtag Common Exposed, hashtag Jaguar was right, each trending, each fueling debates across platforms. YouTube commentary channels released hours of videos, breaking down interviews, analyzing press appearances, comparing timelines. Every old tweet and podcast clip was now evidence to be examined, analyzed, and debated. Meanwhile, Jennifer stayed silent. Her quietness wasn't weakness. It was control. It was dignity. It was the refusal to participate in a media storm designed to amplify pain. But the lack of response had unintended consequences. Speculation grew. Opinions hardened. People chose sides. Some sympathized with Jennifer, seeing her as a woman who had been blindsided despite her intelligence, her intuition, and her emotional strength. Others wondered if Jaguar's story exaggerated reality for attention. And then there was Common. Calm, collected, unshaken. A man whose public persona always projected ease and focus, even when the private story was unraveling. In a radio interview, when asked about Jaguar's claims, Common simply laughed. "People gonna talk," he said. "I know my truth." The brevity, the humor, the nonchalance, whatever his intent, it served as fuel to the fire. Some saw it as a subtle warning to the public. Don't believe everything you hear. Others saw it as a man unbothered, someone continuing life without apology or explanation. Jaguar Wright, however, refused to back down. She insisted she had proof, evidence of patterns in Common's relationships that were consistent, documented, and observable. She hinted at messages, calls, screenshots, and private conversations that could confirm her claims. She said this evidence exposed more than just a breakup. It revealed a man whose romantic choices followed a predictable pattern, leaving talented, powerful women emotionally depleted. Her revelations shifted the discussion from gossip to pattern recognition. It wasn't simply Jennifer versus Common anymore. It was the story of repeated behavior, a cycle that many women had reportedly experienced in the past. Jaguar made it clear. This was history repeating itself, and Jennifer had unwittingly become the latest in a long line of women swept off their feet and then left to wonder why. The private pain of a public icon, Jennifer Hudson's silence, became its own statement. While Common smiled at events, promoted projects, and navigated the media with practiced ease, Jennifer's private heartbreak remained unseen. Her grief was hidden behind professionalism and a careful public image. But those closest to her reported subtle signs, moments of vulnerability, quiet reflection, and emotional exhaustion. She mourned not only the love she thought she had, but also the trust she had extended. According to insiders, Jennifer began noticing red flags months before the public knew anything. Canceled dates with vague excuses, work trips that didn't add up, unanswered calls, and messages, energy that felt distant or distracted initially. She attributed these signs to work pressures or personal fatigue. She wanted to believe in Common, to believe in the relationship. But the whispers, the rumors, the growing inconsistencies, and Jaguar's warnings created an unavoidable reality. The pattern was repeating, and she was now caught in it. Jaguar insisted Jennifer had discovered a secret, something behind the scenes that further validated her concerns. While she never disclosed the exact nature of the secret, Jaguar framed it as a pivotal turning point. The moment Jennifer realized that what she thought was love was not fully reciprocated. That realization, Jaguar claimed, was devastating. The internet splits, the public's reaction mirrored the complexity of the narrative. Sympathy for Jennifer. Many saw her as a strong, intelligent woman betrayed by someone she trusted, caught in the web of history Jaguar exposed. Criticism of Jaguar. Others argued that Jaguar was stirring drama unnecessarily, intruding into private matters and escalating speculation. Support for Common. A smaller faction interpreted Common's calm demeanor as proof he did nothing wrong, framing Jaguar's commentary as an attention-grabbing overreach. This division illustrated a modern reality. In the era of social media, private relationships become public theater. Every comment, every expression, every silence is scrutinized, analyzed, and judged, often without context. And in this case, the lines between truth, speculation, and opinion blurred rapidly. The pattern exposed. Jaguar's central claim was the most compelling and controversial. Common's romantic history followed a pattern. He would sweep women off their feet, make them feel special, chosen, and loved, withdraw when asked for long-term commitment, move on, often leaving a trail of heartbreak. This claim resonated with some fans because it aligned with observations made about his past relationships. Others rejected it, calling it a generalized narrative applied unfairly to a private life. Regardless, Jaguar's insistence on consistency forced viewers to question how much of public persona aligns with private behavior. Can we recognize patterns in relationships without victim blaming? What responsibility does a public figure have when their personal actions affect others emotionally? Her message was clear. This isn't a story about individual failure. It's a story about repetition, choices, and consequences. The stage is set for the final chapter. By the time the media fully dissected Jaguar's claims, the landscape had shifted. Jennifer remained silent, dignified, and private. Common remained calm, unshaken. Publicly moving forward, Jaguar continued to hint at more proof, more secrets, and potentially more revelations. Fans, commentators, and social media influencers were obsessed, piecing together a puzzle that only insiders claimed to fully understand. The tension was no longer just between Jennifer and Common. It had expanded into a public debate about celebrity behavior, patterns of love, and the consequences of hidden truths. And according to Jaguar Wright, this was only the beginning. The storm was still forming. By now, the story had evolved far beyond a simple breakup. It was no longer just about Jennifer Hudson and Common, and it wasn't just about Jaguar Wright's explosive revelations. What began as private heartbreak had become a public examination of patterns, perception, and power. Every player in this drama, Jennifer, Common, Jaguar, and even the fans, was caught in a story much larger than themselves. The silence of strength. Jennifer Hudson remained the embodiment of dignity. Despite social media speculation, public pressure, and Jaguar's repeated claims, she chose silence. In her silence, she spoke volumes. She did not need to defend herself or her choices. She did not need to confirm or deny the claims swirling online. Every action she took was measured, deliberate, and controlled. Her silence became a shield, a reminder that while the public may debate, only she truly understood her experience. Sources close to Jennifer described her as reflective, introspective, and resolute. She was processing grief privately, understanding heartbreak, and rebuilding the trust that had been shaken, not only in relationships, but in her perception of people she chose to let close. This quiet strength resonated with many fans. Some called it inspiring, others called it heartbreaking. But all understood one thing: Jennifer Hudson had navigated the storm with grace that few could emulate. Common's calm response across the media landscape. Common continued to present his composed public persona. He smiled in interviews, promoted his projects, and avoided direct confrontation. When asked about Jaguar Wright or the breakup, he responded with short, measured remarks. "People are going to talk. I know my truth." His calmness became part of the narrative. For some, it indicated confidence and self-assurance. For others, it suggested detachment or even evasiveness. Either way, the juxtaposition of his composure and Jaguar's explosive commentary heightened the drama, creating an ongoing tension between perception and reality. Jaguar Wright. The catalyst. Jaguar Wright emerged as the lightning rod in the story. Bold, unapologetic, and unfiltered, she refused to back down. Her central claim, that Common's romantic patterns repeated with women of prominence and talent, forced a public conversation about celebrity relationships, personal accountability, and the unseen patterns that often govern private lives. She hinted repeatedly at proof, suggesting screenshots, messages, and insider information that could shed light on every stage of the relationship. Whether or not this evidence would ever be fully revealed, Jaguar had achieved her goal. The conversation was now about pattern recognition and historical behavior, not just gossip. The internet and the public's role in the drama became a case study in modern celebrity culture. Social media exploded with debates, analyses, and theories. Some rallied behind Jennifer, empathizing with her silence and her private heartbreak. Others scrutinized Common, analyzing every interaction to determine whether Jaguar's claims had merit. Still others discussed Jaguar Wright herself, questioning her motives while acknowledging her courage in speaking publicly. Every post, comment, and share contributed to the growing narrative. The story was no longer just Jennifer versus Common. It was about how history, perception, and repetition shape relationships, and how those dynamics become magnified when fame intersects with personal choices. The lessons in the storm. Through all the speculation and social media analysis, several truths began to emerge. Patterns can be observed, but interpretation is subjective. Jaguar Wright framed Common's history as a repeating pattern. Some agreed, some disagreed, but the very conversation highlighted the human tendency to learn from experience. Silence is powerful. Jennifer Hudson's refusal to publicly respond maintained her dignity and shifted the focus back to her artistry and personal growth rather than drama. Public scrutiny is unavoidable. In the age of social media, private heartbreak rarely remains private. Every decision, gesture, or statement is dissected under a public microscope. Truth is complex. Both sides carried elements of reality. The charm and appeal of Common, the heartbreak and disappointment of Jennifer, and Jaguar's warnings born from past observation. Each perspective added a layer to a multi-dimensional story. The aftermath. In the weeks and months following the revelations, Jennifer returned to her career with renewed focus, prioritizing music, acting, and personal growth. Common continued public appearances, interviews, and performances, maintaining his composed image. Jaguar Wright continued to comment, occasionally teasing future revelations, reminding the world that patterns and history were worth paying attention to. Fans, media outlets, and commentators dissected, debated, and theorized long after the initial story broke. Yet, in the midst of all this noise, one truth remained clear: the emotional reality belonged to Jennifer Hudson alone. Only she had experienced the intimate moments, the heartbreak, and the private revelations that no public platform could fully capture. Conclusion: a story of power, patterns, and prudence. This narrative is more than celebrity gossip. It is a story about human behavior, love, trust, and the consequences of repeated patterns. It is about navigating heartbreak in the public eye, understanding the difference between perception and reality, and reclaiming one's agency amid speculation. Jennifer Hudson, through her silence, resilience, and professionalism, demonstrates that even amidst chaos, grace and dignity endure. Common, through his calm, enigmatic presence, reminds us of the complexity of public personas and private choices. Jaguar Wright serves as both provocateur and whistleblower, highlighting patterns that otherwise might have gone unnoticed. The story, in the end, is a mirror of modern love in the public eye, a mirror reflecting patterns, a mirror reflecting choices, a mirror reflecting what happens when private lives intersect with fame, scrutiny, and human emotion. And as the dust settles, one lesson stands clear: truth, perception, and the choices we make, public or private, shape the stories that follow us long after the headlines fade.